Many dog owners experience a moment when their dog suddenly behaves differently. A dog that was calm and predictable may begin acting distant, restless, or unusually attentive. These changes often appear confusing to owners. From a dog psychology perspective, however, behavior rarely changes without reason. Dogs constantly interpret the environment around them. Their behavior reflects how they understand what is happening. When something in the environment changes, dogs adjust their responses accordingly. These adjustments sometimes appear sudden to human observers. Unlike humans, dogs rely heavily on observation rather than verbal explanation. They interpret posture, tone, routine, and emotional energy. Because of this sensitivity, dogs often detect changes long before humans notice them. Small environmental shifts can influence canine behavior. For example, a change in daily routine may affect how a dog interprets the environment. Dogs rely strongly on predictable patterns. When routines become inconsistent, dogs may increase their observation. Increased observation often looks like behavioral change. Emotional signals also influence dogs strongly. Dogs read subtle human emotional cues. If tension increases within the environment, dogs may become more alert. Alertness can change the dog's behavior. Dogs also respond to shifts in social relationships. The structure of the group matters greatly to canine psychology. When relationships feel stable, dogs relax. When relationships feel uncertain, dogs become more attentive. Health and physical comfort can also influence behavior. Even small discomforts may change a dog's reactions. Dogs cannot explain discomfort verbally. Instead, they communicate through behavior. Changes in energy level, movement, or attention may signal physical changes. Observant owners often notice these signals first. Dogs also learn continuously through experience. New experiences reshape behavior over time. Because of this learning process, behavior naturally evolves. Dogs adapt as they gain new information. What appears sudden to humans may actually be gradual from the dog's perspective. The dog has been interpreting signals all along. Understanding this process helps owners interpret behavior more accurately. Most behavioral changes reflect adaptation rather than mystery. Dogs are extremely attentive to environmental patterns. Their ability to detect small changes often surprises humans. For example, a change in household schedule can alter a dog's expectations. Dogs quickly notice differences in routine. When these routines shift, dogs begin observing more carefully. Observation helps them understand the new pattern. Sometimes this increased observation appears as restlessness. The dog is simply interpreting unfamiliar signals. Dogs rely heavily on structure to feel secure. Predictable routines create psychological stability. When structure becomes inconsistent, dogs may test new responses. These responses help them adapt. Adaptation is a natural part of canine intelligence. Dogs constantly adjust to changing environments. Through observation, they gather information about what has changed. Each change influences their behavior. Over time, the dog forms new expectations. These expectations shape future behavior. In this way, behavior evolves naturally. Dogs are always learning. Emotional signals from humans also influence canine behavior strongly. Dogs are extremely sensitive to emotional tone. When emotional tension appears in the environment, dogs often become more alert. Alertness helps them interpret the situation. This alertness sometimes appears as unusual behavior. In reality, the dog is responding to emotional cues. Dogs constantly observe posture, tone, and movement. These signals provide information about safety. When signals feel calm and stable, dogs relax. Calm environments encourage relaxed behavior. When signals feel uncertain, dogs observe more carefully. Observation may look like behavioral change. Dogs rely on these cues to interpret their social environment. Emotional signals guide many of their decisions. Because dogs evolved alongside humans, they became experts at reading people. This ability remains central to canine psychology. Understanding this sensitivity helps explain many behavioral shifts. Dogs respond to emotional patterns around them. Learning also shapes behavior over time. Dogs constantly evaluate how their actions influence the environment. When a behavior produces a certain reaction, the dog remembers that outcome. Memory shapes future behavior. For example, if a behavior gains attention, the dog may repeat it. Repetition reinforces learning. This learning process is simple cause and effect. Dogs experiment to understand their environment. Through experience, they discover what works. Successful behaviors become habits. Habits gradually shape the dog's personality. Over time, these habits appear as behavioral change. Dogs are always adapting to the reactions they receive. Each interaction contributes to learning. Because of this constant learning, behavior is never completely fixed. Dogs remain flexible. Flexibility allows dogs to thrive in human environments. Adaptation keeps them successful. Another factor influencing behavior is social structure. Dogs pay attention to how individuals interact within the group. Stable relationships create clear expectations for the dog. Clear expectations encourage calm behavior. When relationships become uncertain, dogs observe more closely. They try to interpret the new dynamics. Observation may look like hesitation or curiosity. The dog is gathering information. Dogs constantly monitor social interactions between people. These interactions shape the dog's understanding. Changes in tone or attention may influence the dog's behavior. Dogs notice these changes quickly. Their ability to read social signals helps them navigate complex environments. Dogs rely on this skill every day. When social patterns stabilize again, dogs often relax. Stability restores confidence. This process shows how closely dogs observe their surroundings. They are constantly interpreting social information. Physical comfort also plays a role in behavior. Even minor discomfort can influence how a dog behaves. Dogs often communicate physical changes through subtle signals. These signals may include reduced activity or altered posture. Observant owners sometimes notice these changes first. Behavioral shifts can provide early clues. Because dogs cannot explain discomfort verbally, behavior becomes their language. Changes in behavior often carry meaning. Paying attention to these signals helps owners understand their dogs better. Behavior becomes communication. Dogs use behavior to express how they feel physically and emotionally. Both factors shape their responses. When comfort and stability return, behavior often returns to normal. The dog adapts again. Understanding these signals strengthens the bond between dog and owner. Awareness improves communication. The more owners observe, the more clearly they understand their dogs. Observation deepens the relationship. From a dog psychology perspective, behavior rarely changes randomly. Every shift reflects the dog's interpretation of its environment. Dogs constantly observe patterns of routine, emotion, and social interaction. These patterns guide their responses. When patterns change, behavior changes. Adaptation allows dogs to navigate the environment. Understanding this process helps owners interpret behavior more clearly. Many changes have simple explanations. Dogs rely on observation more than explanation. Their perception of the world is built through experience. Because of this, behavior reflects what the dog has learned. Learning shapes every interaction. Dogs adapt continuously throughout their lives. Their behavior evolves with experience. Owners who observe carefully gain valuable insight into their dogs. Observation becomes understanding. Understanding strengthens the relationship between dog and human. Communication becomes clearer. When owners interpret behavior accurately, trust grows stronger. Trust allows dogs to relax. In dog psychology, trust is the foundation of every stable relationship. And trust develops through understanding. The more we learn about canine perception, the easier it becomes to understand their behavior. Dogs are always communicating through their actions.